Few figures in modern history have stirred as much controversy, fear, and fascination as Saddam Hussein. For over 2 decades, he ruled Iraq with an iron fist, leaving behind a legacy of brutality, war, and oppression. His regime brought countless deaths, human rights abuses, and international conflict. Yet behind the image of a ruthless dictator lies a series of surprising and bizarre episodes that reveal unexpected sides of his life. From fleeing on a donkey after a failed assassination attempt to commissioning a Quran written in his own blood, Saddam Hussein's story is full of strange twists you might not expect. Below, we explore 12 unusual facts about the man who once dominated Iraq's political stage. Number 12. From peasant origins to political power. Saddam Hussein was born in 1937 in the village of Al-Auja, near Tikrit in northern Iraq. His early years were marked by hardship. He came from a poor peasant family in one of the most deprived areas of the country. Growing up in poverty likely shaped both his ambition and his ruthless drive for control. He rose from these humble beginnings to eventually seize power, an ascent that would alter the course of Middle Eastern politics for decades. Number 11. Twice a law student, twice a dropout. Before stepping fully into politics, Saddam toyed with a very different career path: law. In 1957, he enrolled in an Iraqi law school but abandoned his studies after 3 years to dedicate himself to the revolutionary Ba'ath Party, which his uncle strongly supported. A few years later, in 1962, he tried again by enrolling at Cairo Law School in Egypt. Once more, however, his ambitions clashed with his political involvement, and he dropped out just over a year later. Saddam's dream of becoming a lawyer never materialized, but his skills in manipulation and control would soon prove valuable in politics. Number 10. A donkey ride to safety. One of Saddam's earliest brushes with danger came in 1959, when he participated in a failed attempt to assassinate then Iraqi Prime Minister Abd al-Karim Qasim. During the ambush, Saddam was shot in the thigh. In a dramatic act of survival, he had the bullet removed with a penknife before fleeing Iraq. His escape was far from glamorous. He rode a donkey nearly 300 miles across rough terrain to reach safety in Syria. This unlikely getaway became part of his mythos as a hardened survivor willing to endure pain for his cause. Number 9. Marriage arranged from childhood. Saddam's personal life was also steeped in tradition. In 1963, he married Sajida Talfa, his first cousin. The marriage had been arranged while the two were still children, a practice not uncommon in Iraq at the time. Together, they had 5 children, 3 daughters and 2 sons. Despite the political chaos that surrounded their lives, this marriage remained a core part of Saddam's family story, though it was far from without complications later in his reign. Number 8. A prison break worthy of a film. After returning to Iraq in the early 1960s, Saddam found himself on the wrong side of the government and was imprisoned in 1964. He spent the next 2 years behind bars, but in 1966, showing the same determination he had displayed in his donkey escape years earlier, he managed to break out of prison. The details of his escape have taken on a legendary quality among his supporters, cementing his image as a man who could outwit enemies and survive impossible situations. Number 7. An unexpected UNESCO award. Long before he became infamous for war crimes and dictatorship, Saddam enjoyed international recognition for a very different reason. While serving as vice chairman of the Ba'ath Party, he played a central role in modernizing Iraq's economy and nationalizing its oil resources. Using these profits, Saddam poured funds into social programs, particularly education. Literacy rates soared under his watch, and in recognition of this achievement, UNESCO awarded him a prize. At that time, Iraq boasted one of the most advanced public health systems in the Middle East, and infrastructure projects flourished. Of course, these positive developments would later be overshadowed by his violent campaigns and wars, but it is a reminder that Saddam's rule was not entirely without reforms. Number 6. The key to the city of Detroit. Perhaps one of the strangest chapters in Saddam's story involves the United States, specifically Detroit, Michigan. In 1979, shortly after he became president of Iraq, he received a congratulatory note from Father Jacob Yasso, a Chaldean Catholic priest whose congregation was made up largely of Iraqi Christians. Saddam responded by donating $250,000 to Yasso's church. As a gesture of thanks, Father Yasso traveled to Baghdad the following year. With approval from Detroit's mayor at the time, Coleman Young, he presented Saddam with the ceremonial key to the city. The dictator even sent an additional $200,000 to the church afterward. It is a bizarre footnote in history that one of America's most notorious enemies was once honored with such a symbolic gift. Number 5. Once backed by the West. In the 1980s, Saddam became embroiled in a bloody conflict with neighboring Iran. The Iran-Iraq War, launched in 1980, centered on control of the Shatt al-Arab waterway. To the outside world, Saddam was framed as a bulwark against the spread of Iranian influence, and as a result, he received weapons, intelligence, and financial support from Western powers. For a time, he was seen as the defender of the Arab world. However, his methods were anything but noble. Saddam's forces unleashed chemical weapons, including mustard gas and nerve agents, on both soldiers and civilians. After 8 years of devastating combat, the war ended in stalemate with more than 1 million lives lost. Number 4. Saddam the novelist. It may sound surreal, but Saddam Hussein was also an aspiring writer. Over the course of his life, he claimed authorship of 4 novels and several poems. His most famous work, Zabiba and the King, was published in 2000. The novel, a romantic allegory, sold remarkably well in Iraq, reportedly reaching 1 million copies. While the official line was that Saddam himself penned the story, the CIA and other observers believed it was the product of ghostwriters working under his supervision. Regardless, the idea of one of history's most infamous dictators spending time crafting a romance novel remains one of the stranger contradictions of his legacy. Number 3. A questionable gift to America's poor. In 2001, Saddam made headlines by offering to donate $94 million to impoverished Americans. His rationale was that millions of U.S. citizens lived below the poverty line and deserved assistance. The irony was glaring. Iraq itself was suffering under severe economic sanctions and a humanitarian aid program imposed by the United Nations after the Gulf War. Whether this money was ever delivered is unclear, but the gesture came across as a publicity stunt designed to embarrass the United States rather than a genuine act of charity. Number 2. A Quran written in his own blood. Of all Saddam's eccentric acts, none stands out more than the Blood Quran. In 1997, on his 60th birthday, he commissioned a special copy of the Islamic holy book written using his own blood as ink. He claimed this was his way of thanking God for protecting him from numerous conspiracies and assassination attempts. Over a period of 3 years, calligraphers painstakingly inscribed more than 6,000 verses and 336,000 words, using between 50 and 57 pints of his blood. The Blood Quran remains one of the most macabre artifacts of his reign, raising ethical and religious debates about whether such a creation was sacrilegious or merely a dictator's vanity project. Number 1. Caught with hot dogs and chocolate. After U.S.-led forces toppled Saddam's regime in 2003, he went into hiding. For 8 months, he evaded capture, becoming the world's most wanted fugitive. Finally, on December 13, 2003, during Operation Red Dawn, American troops discovered him in a hole at a farmhouse near Tikrit. The once mighty leader was found disheveled, armed not with weapons of mass destruction but with a stash of mundane snacks, hot dogs, chocolate bars, lemonade, coffee, and even mouthwash. The images of him being pulled from the ground, bedraggled and defeated, shocked the world. It was a humiliating downfall for a man who had once projected invincibility. And that's our look at 12 of the strangest and most unexpected facts about Saddam Hussein. If you found this video interesting, don't forget to hit that like button. And if you want to explore more hidden stories from the past, make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new upload. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.